Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about a couple different things, kind of touch on a few different things. One will be the MSU Deer Lab buck bedding study. the If you just read the kind of the overview, it looks like bucks never bed in the same place twice or use the same bedding areas. Um, but read the fine print and the time of the year when they were studying them, the pre-rut, it was only for a 2 week period, so it's very misleading. But if you dig into it, then the results are exactly what we talk about and what we would expect. If you just read the results, you would think a buck never lays in the same place. But the bucks I'm wanting to hunt them when they are in a certain place. So, say, like for instance, I know a buck likes to bed in this particular cypress pond. I'm gonna, and okay, I had a trail camera there last year or 5 years ago, however I gathered the data, but I know he was there on November 12th of last year, and I had pictures of him for 3 days. Um, so I'm gonna figure roughly around November 12th, he's gonna be using the same bedding area, as long as it wasn't the doe came in or something like that. So I'm not wanting to hunt one buck and try to follow him around and figure out exactly where he's bedding and all this. Um, it's more, I know a couple places 100% where he beds sometimes, so I'm gonna wait on him to be there and then I'm gonna hunt him. I'm not gonna go in and try to figure out all 100 places he's laying. I'm gonna wait till he either shows up on camera or wait. If I think he's there somewhere around November 12th, then I'll slip in and check for some rubs or scrapes, or if it's a big buck, a lot of times I can just identify his track. But some bed, a lot of beds you wouldn't be able to hunt due to access or whatever the reason. So whenever he's in that particular bedding area, that's when I'm going to hunt that bedding area. And it may strictly be, a lot of places I'll hunt is strictly off historical data. So, like 3 years ago, I was walking a new place, looking around during hunting season, and jumped a big buck here. Well, if I looked at the bed and it was uh, a place that looked like a buck would bed often or feel safe, then I'm marking it, and I'll come back, because it's not just one buck that's going to use it. It's whatever buck's in the area will use it. So I'll go, just if I don't have anything better, I'll take a morning and go hunt as if a buck is in that bed. And a lot of times I'll catch them coming to that bed. I've talked about on the map scouting video, I talked about identifying oaks. Um, there's a time to hunt everything. Like if you hunted feed trees all season long, then there would be a lot of time when you're not seeing deer. If you hunted funnels all season long, you'll have a 2 week period where you're seeing a lot of deer and then you're not seeing. So you gotta move. You gotta know when to hunt what. So early season, when the acorns are dropping, I'm trying to find that, if I don't have a buck in his bed, basically, I'm trying to find that, a lot of guys call them apple trees, but it's just a single or one or two oak trees It's not in an oak hammock. They're isolated, and a buck will bed close to those trees if he can. If they're somewhere safe nearby, he'll bed 100 yards from the tree. So, and if he's using that one tree, then there's a good chance I'll be able to kill him. And hunting feed trees, a lot of guys will say, only hunt evenings, only hunt the last 30 minutes of daylight, only hunt the last hour of daylight, whatever. And all that's good, but there's trees, there's places that deer will feed on coming back to bed that they don't feed on leaving the bed in the evening time. I prefer mornings. Pretty much all my big bucks, with the exception of one or two, have been killed between 8 and 10 in the mornings, going back to a bed. there's a lot of places. There's a lot of places I won't even waste my time on an evening hunt because I've hunted several evenings and just won't see anything, or I'll run cell cameras and get absolutely nothing in the evenings in a huntable place. Like they're if they're bedding out in a cypress pond, then sometime before dark they're getting up, milling around and browsing or whatever, but they're not really in a huntable place. By the time they make it up to a tree or to a huntable place, it's after closing time. So, but it's the opposite in the mornings. In the mornings, they've been out doing whatever they want to do all night long in relative safety. So they're more relaxed, they're comfortable coming back into bed. And a lot of times I'll see, you might see one fast walking to bed because he don't want to be out there in the daylight, but um, for the most part, they're more relaxed. The deer in the evening times, I'm sure y'all seen it, coming into a feed tree or something, just sneaking and stopping and listening. And in the morning times, you don't see that near as much. They're more relaxed. I think you can get away with more in the mornings. But as far as hunting a feed tree, I have anywhere that I'm gonna hunt. I already have, like, I know where the oak trees are, so I'm gonna check a few and I'll know when this one's dropping, that one's gonna be dropping or whatever. But if I go to check one and I see acorns all over the ground, then I know the deer aren't using that tree. But I wanna see the feeding sign. You can see the leaves turned over and just cracks or holes, or you can see the feeding sign and identify the tree they're using, and it's only going to be for a short period, 2 or 3 days maybe, depending on the tree, and then they're going to move to a different one. Here in Florida will be the hogs. The hogs that find them trees, especially like the oak hammock type, where there's a bunch of them. And the hogs will come in there and kind of almost run the deer out. But a single oak tree, kind of on an island or off the beaten path, where the hogs just aren't up there all the time to find it, a deer is going to use that a lot more because the hogs won't be as bad on the tree most of the time. I've seen on Facebook the guys taking the deer lab study and saying, "Oh, the buck's never been in the same place twice. Finding beds a joke." Well, yeah, finding beds is hunting beds would be a joke when the bucks are up on their feet roaming looking for does and all over the place, pre-rut. So I'm not hunting beds in pre-rut either. There's a time for everything. Early season, I'm gonna hunt beds, um, beds and feed, or somewhere in between. If I can hunt a bed every day, that's what I'm gonna do. But in the study they said like the bucks never use the same bed twice, but if you read the fine print, or if the beds were separated by more than 20 yards, it was a separate bed. If it was separated by 100 yards, it was called a different bedding area or whatever. So there's some fine print in that study you need to go look at. When I'm saying I'm hunting him in a bed, I don't necessarily mean one place where he's laying. It may be 1,000 acre cypress pond and he's out there somewhere every single day, just about every single day. Now he may only be there for 3 days, 4 days, 2 weeks, whatever the time period is, and then he's somewhere else. But I want to hunt him when he's there. Another thing would be finding killable bucks. Like I'm gonna try to find a terrain feature. Um, I'm gonna find anything I can to improve my chances, whether that's the access part of it. You know, if I got just great access and it's a spot I can hunt over and over and over without spooking anything, I'm walking up a creek or walking up a ditch, or I can access going straight across the cypress pond that there's no tussocks in for them to lay, so I know there's no deer out there or anything. Just anything I can access and not leave scent everywhere, then that's I'll get more hunts out of it. And generally, you're gonna kill the big buck if you're hunting beds and hunting how I'm talking about, not sitting on funnels and slough crossings and stuff like that. But generally, you're gonna kill the big buck on the first sit. And I think a lot of that is just because after he crosses your scent trail or whatever, he knows you're hunting him, so he kind of locks it down a little bit. But a buck may have 20, and I've seen it. I've seen like willow. I don't know what you call it, like willow bogs or willow swamps, where there's not really any big trees. It's just nasty muck and willows. And when it's dry like it is this year, I've been down in those places and seen, you know, 50 beds in a 2 acre area. And I don't know how many deer were actually using it, but based on hanging trail cameras around it, there would be 3 or 4 nice bucks using it, and they're in one of those beds in a 2.5 acre area just about every day, or at least for a 2 week period, early season, like before does started coming in. You know, once the does start coming in, then there's going to be, you know, the bucks are going to be more all over the place, or laying up with the doe in a odd weird place on a field edge or something, keeping her pushed away from other deer. There's like years like this, if we don't get some rain, this would be a year where I look at hunting water holes. I've got a bunch of them marked. um we had a real good muzzleloader hunt on a water hole 2 or 3 years ago when it was fairly dry. It's October 22nd. Man's here in there. Muzzleloader hunt. I'm gonna keep this short because we've been sitting there about 20 minutes before daylight and stuff's walking by everywhere. I'm sitting on some scrapes. I put a camera on the scrapes 2 weeks ago and started talking back in there. And we got like 3 of the target box and 5 nice shooter box on the camera 2 and 3 times a day in the daylight. Every day. We just had a nice 8-point come up there about 25, 30 yards, maybe 20 yards. And was I heard him coming. about to get his body out from behind the helmet and raised his head way up. So, no shot there. We just bagged stuff up here. It's like 9:40. I didn't sit quite as long as I was going to, but after that one spooked and the wind's starting to pick up and shift a little bit now, and it ain't perfect, so we're gonna go ahead and move 100 yards, couple hundred yards, depending. The doe's looking this way, just be still. The buck's right behind her. Alright, here comes the buck. Be still. He's gonna come right into your gun barrel. The doe's coming first. Don't shoot the doe. Don't shoot the doe. Alright, the buck are coming behind her. Just get ready. Just be ready. Here he comes. Hold on, okay. I don't know what y'all could see there. That was a little hectic. Just had one of the better bucks I got on camera. Kind of run a doe by about 30 yards, but he kind of stayed on the other side of some bushes. We just moved a little bit and got set up, and he ran her right out where we were just sitting, I think. They just went out of sight, but we just moved another 10 yards in case something comes back through this little gap over here. Whenever you can get a good shot, shoot him, okay? Got a good shot. Right, just be still, he's coming. Be still. Just when he stops, shoot him. Just wait for a shot. Alright, can you shoot now? Just whenever you can. Whenever you can. Just let him turn. Put your finger on the trigger. Let him turn. Alright, shoot him.
I had it right on.
You missed him. That was definitely a clean miss. I watched the video on my phone where I could zoom in and you can see the bullet hit the oak tree, right before, hit a little oak tree right before it got to the deer. I went out there and looked just in case something crazy happened, but I knew he wasn't hit. He wasn't hit. Jay's over here kicking himself. That's 3 bucks for today, so maybe some more. Mosey on by and give him a shot. You got him. You got him. You got him. You got him. Be still. Still. Just listen. There he goes. He's down right there. He's down right there. Good job, G. Good job. Old Goofy 4-point. Jay sure is excited. would be too. My first buck. And he killed him with a muzzleloader. After he missed one and let two get by. It's a pretty good morning though, $4.
He'll be fine.
I imagine we see 4 more if we stayed the rest of the day. Should see y'all here pretty soon. Today's Saturday. I won't hunt tomorrow, we'll go to church, but imagine we'll be back in here. I'll be back in here with one of the boys Monday, either Jay or Tristan probably. See if I can't knock down another one. 7:25. Monday. I got Tristan with me this morning as the shooter. We're back in the same management area me and Jay came to Saturday. It's 8 o'clock. We haven't seen a deer yet, but I don't expect to till 8:45 to a little after 9. We need old Smoky Ghost to come marching by. He got him. Let's reload that thing. There you go. Is it 8 point?
5, 6, 7, 8, yep.
Yeah, that's a good buck. Hold his head up there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do you think about that?
I like it. I think pretty good of it.
That's a pretty deer too. Look how blonde his forehead is. And the doe, it was a water hole in a doe bedding area, and the does were starting to come in, and I'd put a camera on a scrape where the bucks come and monitor the does, and I started getting a whole bunch of pictures in the daylight of some decent bucks. So we went in and hunted close to the scrape at daylight, and then when the wind shifted, we moved around to the water hole, and midday the deer were coming to the water hole. But there's a time to hunt everything: mornings, evenings, funnels, pinch points, beds, feed trees, scrapes. But you can't pick one and hunt it all the time, or you won't be successful. You might shoot your deer, but you won't be successful over and over and over and over. You gotta move around. Hunt. Um, you gotta hunt according to what the deer are doing. And I keep a journal, so all my trail camera stuff is logged, and I can just go back to that journal and say October 20th. If I have 50 cameras out, October 20th, I got 3 bucks in this management area, 2 in this one in this one, whatever. Look at times, and then the following season, I may hunt strictly off of that because I know, and for some reason at 8 a.m. there was 3 bucks checking that scrape on October 20th. So on October 20th, I'm gonna go hunt that scrape. If we're talking hunting funnels and pinch points, I'm not hunting the obvious, like when I'm hunting a funnel or a pinch point or something. I'm not hunting the big obvious ones out in the, say, in the timber. If it's a lot of pines or a lot of oaks or up on the hill, I'm gonna be down in a swamp hunting. Like there could be a 1 acre, just a thick place you can't even walk through here, and then another one over here, and there's a open, kind of a thin open area going in between them. I'll hunt that, especially during gun season, when I can catch the deer coming back and forth. Same thing with a slough, in a river swamp or something. I'll set up where I can just catch the deer where they're going from, basically bedding area to bedding area, or doe bedding area, checking them. They're coming across. I'll set up for that in gun season. In gun season here, it's a lot less bed hunting. Like, I still want to be close to them, but that's when they're not using the same bed over and over. Early season, I think majority of the bucks are using the same bed or at least the same pond over and over and over, or they may be on like a 3 to 4 day circuit to where he's in this pond one day, this pond the next day, and he's covering a couple hundred acres bouncing around. But a lot of you'll see if like I'll get good bucks on camera at 8 a.m. and I'll get him for 2 or 3 days in a row. Then a mile away, I'll get him on camera after that 2 or 3 days in a row, and he's just making a circuit right there, checking does pre-rut. If he disappears completely, then I'm assuming he probably found a doe and he's locked down somewhere. And that might be a time where I go on out there in the swamp and set up between two thickets or something, and a lot of times you can hear them if a buck's running a doe around or whatever. You'll just hear the racket, and you can. I've moved on the ground a lot, just a lot of times I'm hunting on the ground, but I can hear that racket and move accordingly and try to catch them coming out or catch a gap or something. Last year when it was dry, I took towards the end of the season. I walked the I walked a cypress pond that's normally neck deep, just nasty mud, but it all dried up except for 3 or 4 little holes, and the little water holes just had deer tracks all around them. And I jumped a real nice buck up close to one of the water holes, so I'm sure he was bedding there for the water, close to the water. If we don't get some rain, I'm gonna be looking at some of my water hole spots, especially like opening week of archery when it's 100 degrees. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Happy scouting.